Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and in the newly rearranged studio again,
casting couch,
is Mr. Nate Newton. Nate, how are you, sir?
Oh, another day in paradise, big guy. And then the end of year scramble,
Oh, yeah.
trying to get as much done as we possibly can before the year ends, and then plus have all of our evaluations and our meetings that we talked about last week, and just also trying to get paid on all this shit we build out for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting down the money's fun too, because at the end of the year, all of your accounting resets to cash instead of accrual. So it's like, motherfuckers, get us paid. Like, come on, You got 1 month left, and then some of this shit's like 90 days out, and I'm like,
yeah,
come on, let's go. Contracting. It's
well, and they're doing the same shit too, right? So
right, but they're also they should be trying to get us paid.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not showing income on that money,
right,
and they can't
get those accounts closed,
ARs,
paid,
or APs, yeah.
If I could reach you, I'd poke you in the thigh right now.
Oh, fuck you. I don't
you
even
come
know
waddling in. More waddle than normal.
Yeah. No, it's a swagger. Today it's a waddle.
Okay.
No, I almost fell down the goddamn stairs coming down here. I hadn't done legs in probably 6 weeks, and I was like, fuck this. This is my first one back. I'm going fucking hard, and I think I overdid it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we did this Saturday's workout. Saturdays are always team workouts.
Mm-hmm.
So as a team, we had to do 150 calories on the assault bike, 100 barbell front squats, and then 50 synchronized barbell facing burpees. So you jump over the barbell, you do a burpee, and you know.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. CrossFit lingo.
Yeah.
But so we each did 75 calories on the bike. We each did 50 barbell front squats, and then we each did 50 burpees.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like rep 35. We broke the front squats up into fives. So 5, I dropped the barbell, he'd do it 5. Like rep 35. After the assault bike, my quads are on fire.
Yeah.
Like,
Lord knows you don't have any glutes to help you out.
I don't. It's all bone. So I struggled through the last 15 reps, and the burpees were just awful. They're burpees.
Yeah, they're always awful.
They're burpees. So that was Saturday. Sunday, no gym. Sunday's my rest day. Go back Monday. We get there Monday, and the assault bike's out. I wonder what we're doing.
You pieces of shit.
Fucking 16 calories on the assault bike, 20 wall balls, and a 50-foot weighted lunge. And you had to do that 4 rounds of that. Fucking legs.
Just again.
That's why I'm like, who's doing the programming? This is ridiculous. A lot of legs.
Yeah.
I was trashed yesterday. Completely.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel good. My legs were so fucked. I didn't even feel good yesterday. I was like, it's fucking stupid.
You're like, I ended this workout 4 hours ago, and I still might throw up.
Well, when you go into the gym, like, you're not supposed to go to failure every time.
Right.
That's not sustainable.
Yeah, I bet you watch like bodybuilders work out, and you'll watch a lot of them. They, lightweight, high rep, but they're very concentrated. But that's a big thing for them is going to failure. And so, I was watching an interview with Brandon Allen and I think it was Larry Wheels. They're a couple of big time power lifters. They were asking him, what's the hardest transition for people coming from the bodybuilding side to the powerlifting side? And it's like, we can't get them to stop working out until failure. And powerlifting, you can't do that shit. You're looking at 3 to 6 reps, but high weight and controlled form. But you feel like you still have some more in the tank, but that's not how powerlifting works.
The bodybuilding style is, because it is muscle, it's focused, it's specific, right? You burn out your biceps, you burn out.
Yeah.
When you're doing CrossFit, for example, you can't go to body failure.
Right.
Every time.
You're gonna die.
And I don't know, my heart rate was extremely elevated because I had way too much caffeine that day.
That'll do it.
And that drastically affected me Monday too. So that just compounded the whole me being a bitch about it. And I'm like, what in the fuck? So the good thing was every time that I get to experience that, and I experienced that level of discomfort and misery at least once a week in the gym, at least.
Right.
Because assault bike, wall balls, and lunges, none of those are in my wheelhouse. Those, I suck at all of those.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you're lanky.
I'm lanky. I don't have a lot of leg strength and working on it. But it's not like doing push-ups and pull-ups and shit like that. Like I can do those all day. So at least once a week, I get my shit pushed in by the gym, you know, and I try to approach it with the mindset of evaluating. Because the other compounding effect is it usually happens when I don't stay in my lane.
You're trying to keep up with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And some of the other people that I work out with that have been there longer or in better fit, better
They're
shape.
not 40.
They're not. No, they're like 22. And that's not. I'm not kidding. They're like, come on, RX it, and I'll look at the workout. I'm like, oh, I think I can RX it, and then I fall on my face, and then I'm miserable. Not only am I extremely humbled, and I'm as uncomfortable as it gets.
That's a weird way to say embarrassed.
I'm definitely embarrassed. Fucking embarrassed. I hate when people try to coach me on. They're like, come on, Josh. And I'm like, fuck out of my face.
I don't need your motivation.
I don't need it. I'm like,
I have discipline, damn it.
You're not drowning out the voices in my head. Trust me. You're just background noise.
Yeah.
But it gives me a really good opportunity to kind of evaluate and remind myself that it's about staying in your lane, but moving forward in your lane. And two, it's about progression, not perfection. And it is, I understand when you don't get the results that you want. The gym is always a perfect kind of description of understanding results or being result driven, because you get to see results, right? Whether it's weight loss, muscle gain, cardiovascular, transformation in your face, just of how you're losing weight or if you're not eating sugar. It's a really good example, but it takes patience and diligence,
Yeah.
And I went through that internal conversation with myself like a week ago, because I've been back in the gym. This is like 3 months, almost 3 months now. Yeah, 3 months, and I'm like, I should be more fit. I should, mind you, not doing CrossFit for 3 years.
Right.
I'm like, I should be more fit. I should already be trim, and this and that.
Well, and that is doable, but the only way you're going to do that is via fucking 75 hard. Like straight, flat out disciplined, work out twice a day, and be on a very strict diet, all the water, all that kind of shit. Like, cause I mean, I saw a huge transformation, but I was also a fat piece of shit when we started it. Like, if you look at my before and after pictures, it's like, damn, dude, you let yourself go. Even my beard looked like shit.
Even my beard was fat.
Yeah.
Well,
but there's like that comparison that a lot of us will make, and especially does it mean I've stayed in the gym ever since 75 hard? And because I had been out of the gym for probably a year before we started 75 hard. And so, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my weeks where I go 2 or 3 times a week, but that transformation from being fat as fuck to looking really fucking good, but then trying to get the same progression the next month that I'd had the previous 2.5 months, it's not the same, that progression comes a lot slower once you start reaching a place of achievement. And I mean, that equates to business, that equates to finance. Well, no, not finance necessarily. Usually that's the other way around. Yeah.
the compound effects on the back end, for sure.
But I mean, leadership, trying to fine tune teams, you can knock all the bullshit off. But then once you're trying to sharpen people, that takes a lot more effort and a lot more focus. And
so in the gym, it's like if you want to lose weight, you can lose 10 pounds pretty fast,
Fuck yeah.
right? Just by making some minor adjustments.
Don't drink water for a day.
Well, don't drink soda for a week. That'll
Right.
help
Oh,
too.
shit, yeah.
But the internal dialogue, and this is what I have to remind myself in the gym. And I understand how difficult it is. So in the gym, when your heart rate's extremely high and you're fucking breathing heavy and your muscles are going to failure, it's hard to hear that dialogue
Mhm.
because it's drowned out by all of this other noise, the discomfort.
That little bitch voice starts
The
getting
bitch
real
voice
loud.
starts getting up there. It's
Yeah.
like, why are we doing this? But afterwards, because I always do a cool down, I always get on the bike or the rower. I always do something to kind of flush that lactic acid,
Mhm.
allow my heart rate to come down appropriately. I make sure that I revisit that internal narrative.
Mhm.
And right now for the gym, it's very similar to the business, but for the gym, the internal narrative for me right now is give me a year.
Right, right.
And I have to remind myself that after the workouts that I just get destroyed.
Mhm.
When we go in there and we're doing rowing and toe to bar and pull-ups, like, dude, I'll smoke it. And I'm like, that's why I
Yeah.
love the gym.
Right,
There's more of the other days than those days.
right.
But I have to revisit that goal.
Mhm.
I have to revisit that narrative. And I'm just like, give me a year.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to understand that in business. So last week, you and I discussed about planning to grow.
Mhm.
And it was a lot about evaluating the year end and making plans to grow and growth plans for the team. But you got to do the same thing personally,
Mhm.
like even separating yourself, from the business, because your business deserves the best version of you.
Right.
Your family deserves the best version of you.
You deserve the best version of you.
Man, thank you. You do deserve the best version of you. And you have to kind of create a plan and redirect that narrative in a way that allows you to show up for you first.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm gonna go down a quick rabbit hole real quick. When you rely on the fantasy or the development or growth of something else, you will end up disappointed.
Mhm. It's never going to pan out the way you think it is.
Never.
Mhm.
If you think that the business should operate not only flawlessly, but effortlessly,
Mhm.
you're going to be very disappointed.
Right.
So I think people make the mistake, and I say people, including myself, is we rely on everything else to satisfy us,
Mhm.
to bring us that sense of victory and fulfillment.
Right.
And we neglect the most important ingredient, and that's ourselves.
Mhm.
And really recognizing that internal dialogue and that story. I went home last night and I was not in the fucking mood to eat chicken and
Rice.
corn and rice and green beans.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to eat this.
Mhm.
So
Want some goddamn pizza?
yeah, so guess what I ate?
The chicken
Chicken
rice.
and rice and green beans and corn.
It's like, you fucking better have.
Because I've got to make sure that I'm in alignment with that. The alignment between what I want and who I am is there.
Right.
And when we create this false expectation of what we want, and we don't create alignment with who we are to that, they'll never intersect.
Yeah.
They'll never connect down the road.
That's kind of like hitting that wall during 75 hard. Like, why the fuck am I doing this? And then you got to remind yourself, right? Like, we're taking baby steps here every fucking day, right? Like, we're putting the fucking work in. It's showing results. It's not exactly what you hoped it would be,
Right.
but where the fuck did you get your expectation to begin with?
Okay. I'm staring at the ceiling right now because I'm processing that question. Where did you get your expectation to begin with?
What made you think that this shit was going to happen as quick as it has? And I'll tell you, a big part of it is because you really haven't done that many hard things in your life. And you've seen people's success through Instagram, and you didn't see all the shit that they went through to get where they're at. You know, so there's like this false sense of reality that exists in the world between movies, TV, books, fucking Instagram, whatever, that you don't really see the real trials and tribulations that people have to go through within their own fucking heads.
You don't see the outtakes of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
that scene was shot 70 times.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you, that question really, I wish you would have asked me that off air so I could have time to process it. No, I think it's an absolute necessary question.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get your expectation to begin with?
I mean, I feel like that's a good question to ask yourself, like when you head into some new endeavor, right? Like, where am I developing this expectation from?
Yeah.
Like, what makes me want to do this, for one, but for two, why do I think I can do this in this amount of time? Like Matt and I, when we started our business, we're like, oh, well, we'll do this in this amount of time.
Are you there yet?
No, there was no fucking, there was nothing to give us that expectation.
Other than hope and dreams, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we hope it's this way.
Yeah.
But that goes back to, what I was talking about a minute ago. It's like, if the things that you want and who you are don't align, they'll never connect. You'll never generate that result. But I think if you ask yourself that question, where did you get that expectation to begin with? That should provoke you to investigate.
Right.
To really equip yourself with knowledge and information so you can make good strategic plans and tactical decisions that now are moving in the direction that you want to create. Me going back into CrossFit was based on the fact that I had done it before. I know what my expectation is. Yeah, when I get my shit pushed in the middle of a fucking workout, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
But I have a lot of data that really takes the stress out of it.
Right. Yeah, you're not trying to force the square peg in a round hole.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not even putting myself in a questionable state of action. And what I mean by that is I was talking to the owner of the gym a couple weeks ago. Awesome dude. And we've got some pretty great people in that CrossFit gym as well. I really like the coaches. The culture and the environment is awesome. But I was talking to the owner, and he asked me, I had stopped in there because I forgot some of my fucking gear. So I stopped in the middle of the day and picked it up. And he said, you coming to class? I said, I'm not sure. I said, what are we doing today? And he was like, oh, it's on the app that we use. And I said, I don't have the app. I said, I never look at the workout until after I've come in here and changed clothes.
I don't want you to give me a reason not to show up. Yeah, that's smart.
And he looked at me and he goes, that's a really interesting approach. But I told him exactly what you just said. I said, I don't want to give myself a reason. Because I guarantee you, if I'd have looked at that fucking workout Monday,
start talking yourself out of it.
Yeah, you look at that.
You're going to be trying to find a meeting to schedule.
I'm sitting in here on lunch and scrolling through my phone. I'm like, oh, what's the workout today? And I see that's what it is. No, so I eliminate the opportunity for excuse.
Right.
I don't even eliminate the excuse. I eliminate the opportunity for excuse.
You're like, shit, I'm already standing here. I can't leave now.
The only commitment I have to make is that I'm there by 5:30. That's the only commitment I have to make. Yeah. And it's on my calendar Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Right.
And so it's like the decision's easy because I know what the expectation is. And I've created alignment with that in my behaviors.
Right.
And I've just set up small, simple habits.
That's the brilliant aspect of like what you're doing there is that it's just simple.
Super
just be here at 5:30. And then fucking get after it, right? I mean, you did it takes all of the guesswork out of it, It's like, well, I wonder what it's going to be today. It doesn't fucking matter. Just be there at 5:30.
It's just like laying your clothes out the night before. I'm not spending bandwidth
Right.
on trying to determine what my workout's going to be if I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I leave the office at 5 o'clock. Every day that I'm here, I leave the office at 5 o'clock. I drive to the gym. I walk in, change clothes, usually visit with one of the two or the other people there, and then I walk over to the TV screen and I look at the workout.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can start to mentally prepare myself.
Right.
Like, all right, what is it that we're going to do?
Your shit pushed in.
Now, I say all that not in the sense that I've got this figured out. Like, I'm just trying to help people understand the simplicity of creating progression.
Right. Well, yeah, and like if you overcomplicate it, you're going to fail. So like the best part about 75 hard is that it's simple as fuck.
It's a plug and play.
You got like 5 or 6 things you got to do every day. And if you block your time out properly, like my time ownership was fucking stellar during 75 hard.
Right.
I was like at noon for my lunch break, I do my 45-minute outdoor workout. And then after I leave the shop, I go do my 45-minute lifting session. No matter what, it was going to happen. That was the expectation, was just like, it starts here and it starts here.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And the more you keep it simple, the more you're likely to succeed with it. And I think like we want to build this stuff up in our head to be some monumental task. But quit looking at that big picture. This is the one place that will tell you not to look at the big picture.
Right.
You know, while you're developing this tactic, keep it simple, stupid. Like just as easy as possible. That's your best chance to succeed here.
The incremental decisions and actions is what creates instrumental results.
That's good.
Because it's about doing it all the time. Leadership is a skill, just like the gym, just like investing, or even saving money. It's a skill. But all of those examples right there and everything we're talking about comes down to the simple fact that you have to understand yourself. The podcast I did a few weeks ago by myself, Stay the Course, I went through the 5 C's and how to apply those to yourself. And you'll never hear me not revisit self-awareness. I'll never not talk about it.
Right.
Because every direction that you want to go starts with where you are. And when you have a plan or a fantasy or a goal or something you're trying to acquire or achieve, you have to understand where you're starting. And then relevant to tonight's conversation is you have to know there's no perfect way to get there.
Right.
It's not about perfection. It's about progression. And it's about whether or not you're going to do something today on purpose to be a better leader. If you're going to do something today on purpose to eat better food. It's about making the decision now that's going to give you the result later that you're really looking for. And in leadership, and when you do these things, it will impact the people around you. Right? So in leadership, if you have people that you work with or people in your company, if you have a team, it's going to directly impact them.
Yeah.
It's going to directly impact your home life or your social circle. Right? 75 hard. I know for me, I quit going out.
No, dude, nobody would hit me up to do anything. They're like, are you guys done with your weird program? I'm like, nah, I still got another 3 weeks. All right, well, we'll hit you up when you're done or call us. I don't know.
Because they don't even want to hang out with you just because you can't drink.
Right. Well, that and like you can't eat half the shit, you know. So I mean, that's all you do most of the time with your friends is go out and eat and drink or whatever. Yeah. Or even like off-roading. It's like, dude, I can't go off-roading without a fucking beer. Like, that's communism shit right there, you know?
You're riding around with a juice box.
Yeah. Capri Sun hanging out the window. Yeah.
Just working on myself, fellas. Right. Go home.
Yeah. Okay, buzzkill. You're done.
You know, we're laughing, and it reminds me of something that a factor that so many people remove when they get serious about planning for themselves. And is fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It should,
Yeah, dude, that's so fucking true. Like,
they remove fun from the equation.
right. Like, it's like, oh no, we got to be rigid. And it's like, dude, fucking calm down. Like, calm down. But I mean, there's so much shit you can go do that doesn't have to involve drugs, alcohol, shitty food. You know, like go race go-karts or something. Or fuck it. I mean,
Well, it sounds like a blast.
it does. And it is
Yeah.
a blast. Those
Yeah.
indoor carts are everywhere. Go play fucking paintball or something, you know? Like, there's all these activities that you probably shouldn't be drinking for anyway. Or like Phil Licardi, dude, he needed to get some cardio into his life, so he started mountain biking. Dude, that shit's fun as fuck.
So jealous.
Yeah. I mean, go get one.
I can't ride a bike.
Oh,
but
that's right.
I definitely can't ride one
We'll get you one of those recumbent bikes.
in the terrain.
yeah. Just the moment you hit the dirt, just down.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
That brings me anxiety thinking about it.
right. Because I mean, you're not going to want to drink while you're doing that shit anyway, you know?
Right.
But it's like, it provides adrenaline, it
Mhm.
provides dopamine and endorphins and all this other shit. Like, there's plenty of stuff to go do, you know? Like, because I definitely did that while we were on 75R. I just kind of holed up and in the house, and I was just like, well, if I leave, I'm going to do something stupid and I'm going to fuck up all my progress. And it's like, that's not true,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like, if you already have the discipline to make it through 6 weeks of 75 hard, you can probably go out and do something and not fucking take a drink of alcohol or
Right.
eat a fucking burrito, you know? It doesn't seem like it's that difficult, but I like panicked. I'm like, oh, I'm going to fuck this up.
It's because it's how we affiliate fun, right?
Mhm.
What do we affiliate fun with?
Booze.
Everything you just talked about,
Yep.
right? Eating bad, drinking,
Mhm.
you know, all of those things. It's like, well, can we create different avenues of fun, like you're talking about, like the mountain biking thing, hiking, whatever. Like, be creative. That's the, you know, I think that's another factor that people misunderstand is they don't get creative with it.
Mhm.
They read this thing on social media. It's like 7 steps to lose 100 pounds. And,
No, or like those fucking rag mags that are at the checkout lines in the grocery store.
oh
This
yeah,
simple diet you'll lose
Right.
60 pounds in 3 days. Like,
right,
what? Are you removing organs or like what the fuck are you doing here?
right. Like, no, just get creative
Mhm.
with it. Make it fun.
Right. Dude, and like during 75 hard, my walks, I had a fucking blast doing those.
Mhm.
Like, I'd throw on a podcast or something, and I got to zone out for 45 minutes.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I had a 60-pound vest, and I'd walk like 2.5 miles in 45 minutes. And that was plenty.
I think there's, I'm enjoying this conversation because it's
Because I'm here.
obviously. The second reason I'm enjoying this conversation is I really kind of didn't know what lane we were going to take tonight and how this was going to go, because tonight's recording is stemmed from multiple conversations that you and I have had lately
Mhm.
about finding that center, realigning who we are with what we want,
Mhm.
and disciplining ourselves into the actions necessary to create the result.
Right.
And it excites me about the conversation because I think that, you know, for me, it's like, what am I doing to create gratitude?
Mm-hmm. I actually, because we talked about that yesterday. I did it last night, and it fucking, like, verbalizing gratitude.
Mhm.
Like, it felt weird because I was standing in my room by
Yep.
myself, and there's other people in the house, you know. So I'm just like, God, I hope they don't hear this. But yeah, I don't know, because I tried it, and dude, like, I instantly felt better. I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
life's pretty fucking good, you know. Like, it's
Yeah.
not what it was, but it's fucking good.
Right.
You know, and I think being able to appreciate the small things, that gives you such a fucking leg up to
Mhm.
advance yourself. You know, if you can take a little bit of gratitude for the small shit that you have and then be like, fuck yeah, I mean, this is already great. What else can we do?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's, for me, it's played a significant role in kind of recentering myself, in finding that drive, that killer instinct, that monster mentality. And it sounds counterintuitive, right? It sounds
Right.
counterintuitive to practice something like gratitude to fuel that killer
Growth.
instinct.
Yeah. It's like, well, I got all this stuff. It should be good enough. It's like, that doesn't make you curious about what else you're capable of?
I think
about
it's
what else you can
also
do?
perceived as weakness.
Really? Huh.
I think that being intentional about gratitude
hmm
and verbalizing it, and in our conversation yesterday, I shared with you that it's something I do every day.
Right.
And you tried it last night, and you're like, "God damn it, this fucking works!" And
Right.
because it does. But and I'll give full credit to Travis Ortmeyer.
Mhm.
You know, he was the one that really introduced me to the concept of it, and but really understanding it.
Yeah.
You know, in my conversation with him, but it for me, it gives me such that self of center where I'm like, where I get excited
Mhm.
about doing the things that I need to do, about eating chicken and rice.
But I feel like it gives you the sense of foundation that you have
Mhm.
underneath you. Like, it's like, yeah, dude, I mean, we can go out and do something crazy because we've already got this. Like, why don't we shoot for other things? Like, we've got a good foundation to work off of. Like,
Mhm.
things are great. Like, I went out in the fucking garage and stared at my motorcycle. And I'm like, I fucking love this motorcycle.
Yes, love
You
it.
know? Giving that little walk around. And I was like,
Yep.
yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Practicing that gratitude. So I'll share with you kind of the psychology, a piece of the psychology behind it. Is it's impossible for the human brain, human emotion, to be grateful and hateful at the same time.
Well, it's a great way to eliminate that victim mentality, right? Because I do that Ed Milet that I posted the other day, dude. That shit hit home so fucking hard. And like, I hadn't realized that I had let myself get to that mental state. That I'm like, oh, these, fucking this person did this. This is going on here. All these outside influences. And like, I listened to that story from that dude that got blown up when he was like 9 years old. And it was
John
like,
O'Leary.
John O'Leary. And like the way his folks handled him, and like, dude, whatever the fuck the outside influences are, like, you got to start with yourself. Like, you got to be the fucking base of this whole thing. And you got to put the work in. You're the only one that's fucking capable of this shit. So fuck the noise, fuck the haters, fuck all the background shit. Put your fucking head down and get to work, And it can be a fun process, and it can be something that's full of energy and full of love and other people. And, you get to bring all these different people into your life when you start changing your own fucking attitude and you're not fucking complaining all the time. Like, yeah, like it completely, I needed that perspective change because, dude, we get on here and we talk about this shit all the time. And then I fell right into the fucking place that we tell people not to be in. And it's like, I'm human, right? And I fucking didn't realize that that's where I'd allowed my mental state to get. And so now I'm pumped again, like, I'm like, fuck yeah, we're going to attack the fuck out of some shit,
That's why it's about progression, not perfection. Because we do get on here and we share a lot of things and we don't do it perfectly.
No. Fuck, I do most of it terribly.
I bounce off of the side rails a lot.
So I think that's when we put the bumpers up.
And I appreciate that point, and because I'm in the same boat of, like, I was doing a lot of the things that I talk about incorrectly, and even the things that I were doing correctly wasn't doing very well and very deliberately.
Yeah.
And because it's not about perfection. And I think that when you impose that expectation of perfection onto yourself, you get frustrated, you become disappointed, and then you become negative, and you become self-negative.
I had become very negative.
Because you're not getting what you think you should get. Instead of focusing on the progress, you're focusing on the perfect result.
Yeah, and where did my expectation come from?
Yeah, that's a great fucking question.
Fucking nowhere, like just some bullshit, some arbitrary shit I made up in my head
that you thought is attainable, appropriate, and excusable.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it's like once you can detach yourself from that and really like I had to pull myself up to that 30,000 foot view again in my life. Like I can do it in the business all the time, but I had never really done it in my life, you know, in my personal life. And like I did that for the first time. I like sat down and wrote a bunch of shit out and like, where am I? Where am I going? And it was the fucking clarity that came from that. I'm like, dude, what the fuck have I been doing for the last 6 weeks? Jack fucking shit, you know?
Until you make that external. So the practice of gratitude we talked about, and I told you yesterday, I said, you have to say it out loud.
Yep.
You have to verbalize it. You can't just let it rattle around in your brain. When you externalize those things, you write them out. Create a list of your friends. Create a list of your finances. Create a list of your eating habits. Create a list of your work habits. Write those things out. Identify it. You know, if somebody wants to know where to start, I'll tell you where to start. What's stealing your time?
Mm-hmm.
Start there.
You, Josh, you were stealing my time.
If they're listening to this, I'm probably stealing their time. List that out, right? Identify that. What's stealing your time?
Mm-hmm.
And once you identify that, once you externalize it, it becomes real. It becomes tangible.
Mm-hmm.
As long as that internal narrative stays internal. That's why people tell you to write your goals down.
Right.
You can't keep that shit in your head because
Right.
it's not tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So once you externalize that and once you make it tangible, the clarity that it creates, this is what you were talking about. Like, what the fuck have I been doing the last 6 weeks? Like, because
Like
now
side-by-side comparison, you're like, what the fucking fuck? That's going to take forever. What was I thinking?
but now you have a sense of direction.
Mm-hmm. And a clear expectation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it gets rid of whatever the arbitrary bullshit was. Now it's like, oh, we have something to work with.
Right.
You can try to put a timeline to it. I can guarantee you whatever your timeline is, it's probably not going to work out that way. I mean, it's like going into business. You're like, oh, we're going to hit this. We're going to do this in this amount of time. It's like, the fuck you are.
Man, don't I know that? I mean, we're coming up on 3 years. Last week was episode 150.
Fuck. Oh, yeah. January is going to be.
3 years?
Is that the beginning or end of January?
10, that's middle or somewhere. It's like episode 106. So, yeah, my math is right. 156, sorry.
Huh?
Carry the one. Is
Yeah.
that pi?
Mm.
156 will be our 3-year anniversary.
You gonna take me out to a nice dinner, wine and dine me?
Just drink your drink and don't worry about what's in it.
You can't rape the willing, Josh, all right?
Yeah, well, it's easier if you're already asleep on your face.
This smells like Rooflin. Oh, goody.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say root beer. Anyway, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. But I was, somebody asked me a few months ago, they said, hey, when you started the podcast and the coaching, like, you know, what did you think? And I was like, we're going to be like Joe Rogan in 6 months. I mean, that was...
Our content is so good. Then you go back and listen to the original ones. You're like, what the fuck was that? Can we delete these?
Oh, they're so awful.
Oh.
But again, like, where did that expectation come from?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, like coming into this, like I knew that I was here to be on display, right? Like I was here to like be the example.
Yeah, but you're past that.
Yeah, but I'm still in that.
Not
you know?
situationally.
Right.
But I get a lot of feedback, even with my clients. They're like, oh man, hey, when Nate said this.
Huh.
And I'm like, fuck Nate. No.
He's just repeating whatever I told him earlier.
I give him note cards. No, but I think that you're not just on display anymore. You're still on display, but
right.
you've definitely graduated and elevated yourself up to being able to express and share and articulate your transparency in a way that is informative and educational now.
Oh, I think that's the nicest thing you ever fucking said to me,
It's probably
Josh.
the nicest thing I'll only ever say to you.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's the most impactful part of me being on here is like, you know, being able to come in here and admit when I'm wrong, being able to come in here and put all my bullshit on display and all my mistakes and the things that went right, and like this is all through the coaching that you've provided for us. So it's like, I can tell you where things went right, like where the fucking turns are that went in the right direction. And I can tell you when things started to tank, exactly what we stopped doing as far as the shit that we talk about in here all the time. And the thing is, like, we talk about evolution as a person all the time. And I get to fuck up and then evolve. Like all the shit that just went on in the last couple months. And then now, like this moment of clarity that I had, that it's like, all of this is based in the fucking shit that we talk about. Like, this isn't just some, I had a fucking revelation. It's like, no, there was steps to get there, you know? Like, and you don't realize how much you're fucking up until you're just like sitting on your bed, staring into the fucking abyss and just like, dude, what the fuck am I doing? You know? And I'm like, let's see. We talk about this shit all the time on the goddamn podcast that I'm on. Maybe I should roll back through some of this shit, you know? And it's fucking helpful, you know? And it's not to toot our own horns or anything like that. Like, I'm literally just applying the shit that we talk about. Yeah. And so, I don't know, I'm grateful for your coaching, because that's been what's propelled us in the right direction and given us the ability to fucking look at shit from an outside perspective, which I never had that before. And so then bring that into business, and now I'm doing it with myself. Like, it's, you know, before it was just all about the business, you know, and then I'm like, I did 75 hard. I'm a much better person now. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's what I have to tell myself half the time. It's like, shut the fuck up, Nate.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's my shit on display.
Having a sense of confidence and conviction is really important. You said we're not tooting our own horn. I don't think we're tooting our own horn. I'm very confident and have true conviction in the things that we talk about, because I know it works.
Right.
Does that mean that I'm perfect at it all the time? No, that's ridiculous, because growth is not a straight line up. It's like there's gaps, there's fails, there's falls, there's course correction along the way, but it's okay to be confident about the shit we talk about.
Yeah. I mean, we had to go through some shit to get to this point, right? I mean, whether it was in business or personally, like, there was some shit that had to be, you had to feel some fucking shit.
I lost a multi-million-dollar company to get here.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good old fucking swift kick in the ball bag.
Yep. And that, you know, that was one of the catalysts for this.
I'm pretty sure that's why I knew this was going to work. I'm like, yeah, that's like, I feel like you can't do this until you've failed properly, you know? Like, and I've failed. And, you know, like, fortunately, our business is still around and it's flourishing, but you're also the only fucking reason that that's happening, you know?
Well, that's but you guys made a decision to implement.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You can tell people this shit all day, and if they don't fucking do anything, then it's moot, right?
Yeah. I know how many times every single video on YouTube, including the toolbox, has been viewed. There are videos in the toolbox that have only been watched 4 times.
Jesus Christ. It's that content people feel isn't applicable.
Right. And I mean, the toolbox is designed to cherry pick, but that doesn't mean you neglect it.
Right.
See if it's applicable or not. Watch it anyway.
Right.
So you do have to understand, it doesn't matter what you have access to, what your resources are, what the information or knowledge that you have. Garrett talked about it, about what fucking not Ed Mylett, Andy Frisella. He's like, you know, knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is power.
Yeah.
You have to apply this shit. You have to implement this stuff. And the thing is, you have to implement it like a bunch of times to get one result.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you have to put the reps in.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it. The reps. That's what fucking matters more, is the reps. Because that first time you do it, it's not going to give you any fucking result.
I threw a picture up on Instagram today because I was sitting in that chair behind you with my notepad, which I sat in that chair a lot.
The casting chair?
The casting chair. I've never clocked how many hours I think in silence to make all of this come to life. The reps that I get to put in thinking, right, I have notepads full of shit in this office, of thoughts that I just are spilling out of my brain, and I'm trying to organize and structure. But putting the reps in again and again and again and again,
Mhm.
then we can get on here and we can create a result. Or I can get in front of the camera and create a coaching program. Or I can get,
Mhm.
it's like, or I have a conversation with a client and it's like, okay, I need some time to digest that a little bit. And then I get back with them and it's like, all right, now let's walk through this plan together.
Mhm.
You've got to put the reps in. If you put in 100 reps for one result, it's pretty good turnaround.
Yeah.
Just be understanding that it's not about perfection, it's about progression. And be intentional about it. And we talked a lot about the gym in the beginning. There are days that my shittiest days in the gym are when I'm not doing it on purpose.
Mhm.
When I'm not being intentional, when I'm not in the gym. I either just had something at work or with a client or something else is going on and I'm like, fuck, I got to run to the gym. And I just go through the gym and I go through the motions.
Mhm.
Psychologically, I'm not involved.
Not
Physically,
engaged,
I'm not involved. And I just go through the motions. Yeah, I'm still putting the reps in. They're shitty reps.
Mhm.
But the more intentional you can be about the
better-
work that you're doing,
Better the
the
results.
better the result.
Yeah.
You can do curls.
Mhm. But if you're engaging your shoulders and just slinging weights around,
Right.
that ain't doing shit. But
That's
if you have
right.
a slow, controlled focus on the muscle, whole other story.
Completely. Like even my shirt sleeves get tight.
Mhm.
Put that away. Put that away. Scares me and turns me on at the same time. Moving into the new year, as you and I are recording this, tomorrow's the 1st of December. So the new year's right around the corner. Everybody's going to start this new year, new me, this new year's resolution, this new hype. They're gonna,
It doesn't mean anything either. Like our calendar new year, it's not based in any sort of celestial fucking. It's pointless. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like almost like this Hallmark holiday. Oh, new year, new me. Yeah, for about 2.5 days.
I like that Hallmark holiday. I like that.
Yeah.
I always looked at it as if you were going to put yourself on a calendar, it's your birthday.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's like when your time started.
Yeah.
Like,
That's your new year right there, motherfucker.
right there.
Yeah.
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
So all of this is coming up. We've been talking about the companies, building teams, planning to grow. Tonight, it's talking about really identifying and understanding yourself, creating that sense of awareness, becoming realistic about the things that you want,
Mm-hmm.
and be careful with dream casting
Mm-hmm.
because it turns to fantasy if you're not careful.
If you're not paying attention.
But I kind of on one of the points you made earlier, if you're not externalizing that dream cast, if you're not writing it down, if you're not creating a vision board or pictures or doing something to make it tangible, it will become fantasy.
Yeah, it's going to run away on you.
It will, and then you'll just replace it with something else that continues to provide you with false dopamine.
You can talk yourself into all sorts of shit when it's not staring you back in the face.
It's
you know?
amazing.
Once
what
you write it
can
down,
talk
you're
yourself.
like, what the fuck was I thinking?
So I'll share with you the first time that I ever applied that principle of writing things down. I was at a conference. I'd never done anything like that before. This was way early on in my self-development journey. And it said, it had at the top of the page, all of the things that you want. And the exercise was to not censor anything. Be completely open about all of the things that you want.
Mental diarrhea, pretty much.
Exactly. And it did in all areas of your life. It didn't matter. This was not to judge. So I start writing down all of these things. How much money I want to make. This is what I want to acquire. These are the things that I want to do. And I filled up probably 3/4 of the page with all of this stuff that was in my brain that I had never externalized before. And I write it all out. And I remember like I did this yesterday. I put my pen down and I look at the page and then I start reading it. And I probably said this out loud. I looked at it and went, God damn, you're shallow.
I'm a Ferrari.
Because the things that I had wasted bandwidth and emotional energy on by internalizing, they weren't significant at all. Once I put them on paper, I was like, the fuck?
Right.
Almost none of it. I had almost an entire page of shit that didn't matter. It didn't even matter to me once I externalized it.
You read back, you're like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. What am I, fucking kindergarten?
It was ridiculous.
Right.
That was the first time that I ever did that. And it really brought that perspective for me of being intentional. What is it? What are the things that you really want? And I've mentioned this before, not speaking in generalized terms, being specific, putting those things in high definition, and not generalizing those things that you want. Man, creating that clarity for me just really kind of helped develop the disciplines necessary to achieve it. And I said earlier, when I'm in the gym, my narrative is like, give me a year.
Right.
Like, I know exactly what I want in a year. Performance-wise, physique-wise, nutrition-wise. I know what I want the scale to say. Like, I know exactly what I want. Fucking give me a year. Yeah, and I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna eat the chicken. I'm gonna eat the rice. I'm gonna put the fucking reps in. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Because in a year, I want to be able to look back and go, well, that was an interesting journey.
Right.
But
don't even recognize the motherfucker that started off,
Yep. And that's the point, right? You don't want to recognize who you used to be.
Right.
And changing that internal narrative and changing those that external, verbalizing those things, practicing these habits. Man, we're talking about it because it works.
Right.
We're sharing this because it works. We didn't invent this.
Yeah, like you said before, we're a conduit for all this other. I mean, we take all this shit in from all these different places and put it into this like applicable package for tradespeople. And I mean, which also it's not just that; it's fucking anybody, really. I mean, most of the content, but there's some stuff that's very specific. But yeah, I don't know. And we're not fucking gurus. More than anything, it's just putting our shit on display and being like, hey, this actually works.
You know what guru is?
Teacher.
Do you know what guru stands for, though? Guru is a teacher.
Yeah. And for the Sikhs, at least.
Guru is dark to light.
Huh.
So a guru is a teacher that takes someone from the dark to the light. So educates them. But
you know what? I think I'm going to be a Rugu.
Beauty is but a light switch away. I'm about to Rugu you. I don't want to be here anymore.
Sounds like we need a hose afterwards.
At least a bath.
Yeah.
Who takes a bath? If I ever see you in a bath, just go ahead.
Trust me, I'm slitting my wrist.
I was going to say, go ahead and finish killing yourself. I'm not going to stop you. I feel like, dude, if you made it this far.
Some nice people soup you got going on.
The light off or on. Just close the door on my way out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the coaching a little bit as we wrap this up here, because I've mentioned multiple times we've been working, doing a lot of crazy things behind the scenes. Your Instagram posts, the things that you've seen evolve in the studio are all a part of that. This podcast is on YouTube. We each have our own camera. We look amazing. And I just was messaging Jasper right before you walked in. She's like, yep, we're the merch. This is what I love about my team is I give them an idea and they make it better.
Right.
I love that about my team. Emma did the same thing last week. Showed you that toolbox video. We're still building those. And I was like, hey, this is what I want. She was like, fucking better.
Yeah.
Jasper's doing the same thing with the merch. She's kind of taken over redesigning some of the things. We're still pushing to have that out and available before Christmas. Also, before you walked in, I just finished recording the RVT training.
Oh, nice.
The video training for that. So we're creating a new program in the tradesman experience called the Job Box. And it's where online courses are going to be available. So long form toolbox videos is really what they are. And the RVT training is repairman versus technician. And I walk through, we're breaking it up into 4 sections rather. It's, that way it's not just like a continuous thread of video. It's broken up into 4 sections, but you're going to be able to buy that. It's a one-time purchase. You have it forever to show and train with your team. It is going to be targeted towards residential service companies, plumbing. I was going to say, I don't know why I thought it said welding. Plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and home repair. So it is going to be targeted for those 4 industries.
Right.
However, if you are in welding or roofing or something else, and you do a lot of residential repair work, then it's absolutely beneficial to invest in the RVT. So we're also going to be pushing the RVT training out December. That's going to be available. So we're going to build the Job Box. The first course going into is the RVT training. Starting in January. And so we're putting this on the podcast first. So I'm not going to push any promotion out until after this episode comes out. I'm taking on 10 new clients in January. It's going to be 10.
Yep.
So, but
space is limited.
Space is limited because I've got clients graduating out. They're closing out their year. The hourlies, we're shifting some of those. So I'm taking 10 clients for the coaching program in January.
Start the year off on the right foot.
So you've got to email me, thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. We can at least have a conversation about it. You don't, you emailing me or us having a conversation isn't committing you to anything. But I'm just telling you, before I put it on Instagram, the listeners get first dibs here. I've got 10 spots that I'm looking to fill at the first of the year. Because we're putting so much effort into the toolbox. We're building this Job Box. There's going to be a lot more push for the online programs, which limits my availability to people. So don't fuck around. I mean, that's my sales pitch. That's my whole sales pitch. Don't fuck around.
Right.
So if you hear this, email me. Let's have a conversation. I've got some new clients that came on board recently, and man, they're impressive. They are impressive. The quality of people that I'm getting to work with is awesome.
Fuck yeah.
It's awesome. So,
well, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of being in the position you are too. It's like, if you don't feel like you're going to add value to them, you're not going to bring them on.
Not at all.
Yeah. Like, it's non-committal. It's, hey, am I going to be able to do the most for you? If not, then this isn't going to work, you know?
Right. I have an onboarding process now for my clients. So when we start, you're going to have homework right out of the gate. You got to do these things. I need this information. Fill in the blank. Give me this so I know what I'm working with. And then we can kind of start to then narrow that into specifics. But it's leadership training complemented by operations. We're going to look at systems. We're going to discuss operations, how to host a team meeting, how to have conversations, how to set expectations, how to develop growth plans. But that's all based around leadership. So we start with you, and then we expand that into your company. Even if it's a single owner operator, you can expand that into your company. So I wanted to put that on here first before we put it on social media. I'm probably going to launch that in a couple weeks. So it'll give the listeners about 2 weeks to hear this before I go public with it on social media. So I want to give them the first chance. So
all right.
It's exciting, man. A lot of things, everything you see in here, we've purposely done for a appealing backdrop, if you will, right? I mean, I know we're eye candy, but I want to make sure.
My side looks way cooler. I get like,
dude, your side is. I got done with that late last night. I stayed here till I think I was here till about 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
Because I had to wait for the attorneys above me to leave before I broke out the
Start
hammer drill.
hammering shit.
I didn't want to hammer drill through that block wall and then be like,
Right.
what the
fuck is he doing down there?
So I waited till the building was closed, and then I got up and I looked at my side. I'm like, well, this side's way fucking cooler than mine.
You got stupid HVAC stuff
Oh,
over there. You got
God.
cool
Your
welder
dumb
stuff and
helmet.
whiskey and a fucking pepper box pistol.
That fucking thing. You know what's and that I won't drag this out. We'll wrap this up, but this is how specific I am with everything that I do, everything in my life. Other than the sound panels, okay? Everything that you see in here has a specific story.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Every piece in here.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely believe that.
Mm-hmm. So it means something to me.
Right. You're a hoarder of things.
How am I a hoarder?
Yeah.
I didn't say it wasn't junk to somebody else.
Right. They mean something to you.
But everything in here has a meaning. Has I don't know that it has a purpose, but it definitely has a meaning.
Right.
Somewhere along the way, it came into my life. Most of them as a gift. Most of the things in here that you see.
Just like I was a gift to you from God.
I mean, I had a prayer and it was answered, and
I think I might have been praying to Lucifer.
I was like, boo. Unanswered prayers, my ass. What the hell?
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Y'all done?
I'm done. Yep.
All right. You can find Nate on Instagram at NateNewton87. I am on Instagram at The Tradesman Experience. Email is thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com. Website's thetradesmanexperience.com. And the YouTube is The Tradesman Experience. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Get out there, get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See ya.